Could this be earth? Could this be light? Does this mean everything's going to be alright? One look out my window, there's trees talking like people.
Gentrification is when urban neighborhoods shift into wealthier neighborhoods due to the influx of wealthier residents and businesses. This makes property values skyrocket.
In class, we created replicas of our neighborhoods and then we gentrified them. For example, there was a local coffee shop and then we took it down and made a Starbucks.
What we did was we had you guys create your communities, and then we made our own little buildings, and we were going to take apart your communities and add in these high-end stores.
Well, you did that already.
How do you guys feel about that?
You hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I feel I'm sorry, but that's what's happening all over Providence right now. Emmanuel, you're really mad about Mr. Lemon. Why?
Because Mr. Lemon is way better than Florian.
But which one makes more money?
In math class, we looked at gentrification data about Providence.
But we need to have some data to back it up so you guys can really see what's actually happening in Providence.
When looking at Providence's gentrification, we looked at census data for the change in bachelor's degree or higher, owner-occupied housing, home prices, rents, and income. This graph shows the amount of people in Providence that graduated with a bachelor's degree or higher in 2000. The lighter blue indicates fewer people with a bachelor's degree, and the darker blue with more. When compared to the graph for 2006 through 2010, the amount of people with a bachelor's degree or higher occupying homes in downtown and South Providence increased. This graph describes the median household income in Providence in 2000. When we look at the 2006 to 2010 graph, it shows more of an increase in Mid-Providence, West Providence, and North Providence with a darker shade of blue. A conclusion could be that wealthier residents moved to these certain areas.
We went on a field trip to see gentrification firsthand in the west end of Providence.
Gentrification has some benefits. It makes the area look nicer, and also it creates money for the government where there are higher property values.
What kind of people do you see around here?
Children that are not scared to go to the park with their friends without their parents.
Okay then, so it's a lot of safety here. You see that, there's ice cream trucks. A lot of good stuff around here, you guys.
If trees could speak, they would talk about these brand new humans that came around, building things that brought smog around. Now, how's that for gentrification?
If you stop around here and you look this way, the houses are very nice and are very clean and stuff. But if you look around here and you see this house or the house over there, they're not as great or as nice as you should be here. So I believe this is an example of gentrification. I believe this whole street was once like that, and people have moved in here and turned into this.
Are these all negative changes? No, but would we say that there's still gentrification?
Yes.
So how can we have gentrification also sometimes be positive or at least not be harmful? What is it about gentrification that makes it keep going? Why do people think that's like an okay process sometimes? Simone?
Because gentrification makes a community or a neighborhood look better and more safer, so to speak, and it makes everybody want to live there.
Destiny?
Makes the community look better, but even though the community is looking better, the effects of it, behind the scenes of how beautiful it looks, it's people are still being moved out, and it's people that are being moved out have to go to different places, which makes other places look more run down, and then makes the original places look better.
The problem with gentrification is it displaces lower income residents, often minorities, who can no longer afford to live in these areas. This is unfair because the minorities have no choice but to move, which damages cultures.
In this, it says that you have to pay 75% more taxes and to the taxpayers, and probably last year or in the year 2000, this would have never happened.
How does income, education, and gentrification all connect?
Oh, I was gonna say that if you have a higher education, you're more likely to get a better job, a high-paying job. And if you have a high-paying job, you can move into places that have higher rent because you can afford that rent, and then obviously people who have more money they would increase the property value, and then people who are already living there who can't afford it have to move out to another low income place.
How does gentrification and all that we just saw connect to A Raisin in the Sun?
A Raisin in the Sun is set in Southside Chicago. It is about a black family that is living in poverty.
It connects to gentrification because in the book, black people had lower incomes and whites had higher income. In the time period, black people were able to further themselves in life and couldn't afford to live in nicer neighborhoods.
We can reduce the bad effects of gentrifications by creating programs and organizations to secure housing for low-income residents and minorities. We can also protest unfair housing policies